All right. I'm live. We're getting ready to do this. Y'all know how we do. We got a lot to talk about, as always. Trump does like to keep us talking. There's one thing he does is he'll keep us very much speaking. Oh, I just made a boo-boo. He definitely does that. Let me let Dion in. Dion's already here. That means we can get ready to get started right away, which is a good thing. That's excellent. I forgot to put the live on here. I'm gonna take one more minute and redo this correctly. I made a boo-boo. I'm all right. It's okay. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I guess somebody can kill me for it. I didn't test my audio yet. Let me just make sure my audio's good. Oh, that's why I can't hear anything. It's not. All right. Mic check. All right. I'm in there like swimwear. Ta-da! Let me just go and pull out my live button. Because y'all deserve to know this comes from a space of, I like it better here. Download this, send it to myself right quick. All right, we're getting ready to dig into this. How you doing today, Dion?
Not too bad, my friend.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So everything yesterday went just as I said it would, without fail.
Okay.
I mean, most of the YouTubers were able to predict this. This wasn't rocket science.
What was there to predict? Was
Everything
the
that would
largest,
happen.
now it was the largest protest in human history?
That too. No, just American.
Hmm.
I mean, but that was easy to predict. That wasn't like, oh my gosh, we got that when we nailed this. It was kind of like, you know, what? People don't want kings and they protested in America. So people showed up. What? People showed up? Nah, no way. It's like, yes, wait, Ted. you know, I'm having a hard time getting this going. Why are you playing with me? I want to hurry up and get started before it gets too late because it is that time of night. And just throw this here. Let people know what this is about. I'm gonna use this phone to let the team know what's going on. I got two different phones going. Because that's what you gotta do when you're above 30. And I'm way above 30. We're not gonna talk about how old I am because it makes me feel old. Well, I guess that's what it is, right?
Yes.
All right, let me get this going. And then I'll just let everybody know that we're here. Here we go. We have the Honorable Dion Powell here. And we're about to get started. For those of you who don't know. Okay. Well, hello. And welcome to the team. Oh, wait. Right, too much. Hello, welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased, logical conclusions. The link to our disclaimer is in the description right below you. I didn't put that on yet, actually. I'll put it on now. And I'm going to allow Dion to introduce himself because everybody here doesn't know Dion as of yet. And then we'll get started talking about all things Trumpy. Dion?
I'm 78th Assembly District Dion and Powell. Looks like we're all having little hiccups here. Maybe something catchy. I'm the 78th Assembly District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party, and I'm a consultant, community leader. And this week for No King's Day, I was rocking the Black Lives MAGA t-shirt, as you guys can see. Shameless plug. Back to you, Leo.
So, what does Black Lives MAGA mean? Why don't you describe why you do this Black Lives MAGA thing?
Well, it's just so catchy. Because if you think about it, it actually, for me, it's more of a double-edged sword. For the left, it's Black Lives Make America Great Again, which they sometimes look at as BML. Like, wait a minute. And then we think about it, like, but then on the right, when they see BLM, they're like, oh no, it's them. And then they're like, wait a minute, Black Lives Matter is cool. I want to take a picture with you. And it's cosplay. So I was outside across the street from Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue with some
People
of the
want to take a
young.
picture with you because you have the Black Lives MAGA shirt on.
Yes, I love that t-shirt. Man. Oh, if I only had but was able to sell it. And I was able to help someone sell some MAGA hats outside across the street from the Trump building on Fifth Avenue. Some of the, counter protesters that were trolling people for No King's Day on Saturday.
Well, 7 million people showed up. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, we're live. It's already sent. All right. Yes, yes. Might as well get some advertisement going as we're doing this, being that this is an important event. So, while 7 million people, more people than have ever marched for anything in this country, 7 million people, more people showed up in New York City in Times Square than people show up on New Year's Eve to watch the ball drop. Like, that's a lot of people. Like, people come to watch the ball drop. That's just, it's part of it's Americanese. This is American, it's apple pie and baseball.
Oh
People
God.
show up and watch the ball drop. And more people showed up to protest this current administration. In order for the 7 million people to have shown up, I would infer, based on the numbers that Trump claims that he got during the election, that there are people that are starting to have, what is the term? Buyer's remorse. Now, I know that you're not yet quite teary eyed over your choices, but it does appear with 7 million people marching that we could not have that many people marching if it was along party lines. Does those numbers sound accurate to you?
Well, anything's possible. When it comes to the mainstream media, when it comes to numbers, we don't take them with a grain of salt over here, and we most likely don't believe them. And if anything, the Republican numbers are probably more so than what they're reporting. Now, having said that, when you say buyer's remorse, you got to also factor in your equation. How many people were illegal? How many people did not vote that's actually out there in the streets, if you think about it? And how many people may be paid to be there that actually voted for Trump? So those are the things that we factor on this side when we look at all that mass humanity repeatedly played out there in the World Wide Web.
I see. So, I mean, you could have made much better arguments. If I was in your shoes, I would have come up with much better arguments than that. I
Right.
would have.
Think about it. The swing states and most of these protests are where in major liberal cities. So
That is very not true.
there was the one in Idaho. Was there one in Idaho, Nebraska, somewhere?
Well, there were 2,700 protests. There are not 2,700 blue cities. So then by standing of reason, if there was 2,700 protests and there's not 2,700 blue cities, then some of the marches weren't in blue cities. Actually, some of them were in blood red states. They were actually,
Yes,
okay.
let's look at it, shall we?
Which red states? Yes, let us discuss it. Had, what is it? No King's marches. That didn't give me a direct answer. But this is a good, I mean, some of the things that they say, I think I'm going to share my screen. And then you can try and share something that debunks it, because I would if I were you. Protesters sweep all 50 states. Nationwide, No King's protest draws crowds against, we don't have to go there, more than 2,600. No, I said 27. I read 2,700. No King's protests were held across U.S. Three takeaways from Saturday's No King's nationwide protests. No King's protests draw large crowds in U.S. cities. No King's protests against Trump bring a street party vibe. That's not good. Actually, that is something that I heard. Now, as a bit of a Malcolm X fan, which I am, oh no, oh God, Malcolm X. Look at the Negro that likes Malcolm X. I happen to like the fact that when they marched, now I don't eat bean pies. They good though. I mean, it's whatever. Not my thing, but I'll eat a bean pie. But I'm not Nation of Islam or nothing like that. But you got to respect what's respectable and what demands respect. When Malcolm X marched, when his people marched, when they marched, they were in suits, they were in ties. There wasn't no games. They were dead serious because ain't no laughing matter. People showing up to marches in unicorn outfits. It can't be taken as serious as 1,000 black, as a million man march with everybody wearing suits. You know what I mean? Like give me the million man march with everybody wearing suits over the 7 million march with people wearing unicorn suits.
Amongst
But
other things.
but but 7 million people during these protests, and the suit was representative of something. Because I do believe that particular suit was like, yeah, I know this is a silly outfit. It's a figment of my imagination. There's no such thing as unicorns. But this Trump thing is for real. It was a contrast. And it did make the point to me. I would have preferred the straightforward, but I definitely get when you have 7 million people, that people are going to bring their own colorful personalities to try and show their allegiance in the way they show it. And since it wasn't centralized, organized by George Soros, where everybody's wearing the same thing with the same signs, since
Well,
that wasn't the case,
who says it wasn't funded by George Soros, like they claim to be?
I don't know how much money George Soros has, but I don't think he paid 7 million people to show up. Even $1 would have been $7 million. I don't believe you.
Among them. Plus the
So if you
signs and the transportation and the lunches. You know what I mean? Somebody has to pay for those expenses.
What lunches? Did you get a free lunch? I didn't get a free lunch. Did you?
I get free lunch. Public school, maybe? No, just kidding. No, I'm just exaggerating with bus rate. Who pays for the buses to go to the
So
campus?
you hold up. No. This is not an exaggerating matter. You're
Exactly.
insinuating
Yes.
that this was funded, and then you're throwing out facts that aren't true to back up that
That
insinuation.
can't be proven. They just can't be proven. It just plays on the common sense. Understand?
No, what plays on the common sense is people are mad, they're upset, they're losing their health care, and they realize Trump lied to them, and there's tariffs and prices is going up, and there's wars, and Trump is building a ballroom and having a UFC fight in the front lawn, and people are hungry, and people are worried, and Trump is talking about never leaving office, and it's just Trump being Trump, and people are tired of it. That makes sense to me.
And Monday, everybody goes back to work. Who has a job?
That's true.
Back to
That's true.
the back to schedule program.
So, in your opinion, based on the statement you just made, protests are irrelevant, don't mean anything. It's kind of like, so what?
No, it does mean something because it exposed the hand once again of the left on what they're about. Protests. Like you said, Million Man March. You actually see on the surface, it was about something. They had a goal, had a respective leader, if you want to call it that. But no King's Day, what came out of it? What's the next steps, as they say? What was it about? See what I'm saying? You yourself has some felt some sort of way looking at the imagery, like, hey, this doesn't really represent it much to stop Trump, does it?
I see. So, I have to educate you about history yet again. Yes, there was a face on the Million Man March. There was a not supposed to be. So the way the March on Washington originally went, it was grassroots like this march. It started by people at the corner store talking about how upset they was about what was going on. And the grassroots, the streets got together and it was like, yo, we're going to march. It started at the grassroots, which means in the streets. There was no leader, according to Malcolm X himself. When the leader got involved, is what they call them, Big Seven, Big Nine, something like that, is when the government was like, yo, that march looks serious. Yo, do something about it. And they was like, we can't do nothing about it. We ain't involved. We'll help you get involved. We'll fund it. We'll march with you. And they weakened the march. They watered it down and put leaders that weren't going to be militant in it to cool it off because it was hot. The leaders weakened the march. This march didn't have leaders because they couldn't infiltrate. There was nothing to infiltrate. It was too big. There's too many people upset. You've all 50 states means I don't care if it was red, blue, or purple. There were people marching. They were protesting. They was upset in all 50 states. That sounds like a problem on election day for the midterms, even if you redraw the maps through enormously gerrymandered lines. What is your take?
I believe that if you're going to compare the Million Man March
I'm
to
not. I'm just you. I brought it up, and then you tried to make a comparison. I said it's nothing like it. It was,
okay, okay, fine. Million Man March, toss. If we're going to talk about No King's Day, then you have to look at it in its totality. We will see the results this November. And the trolling on this side is, well, we had our No Kings rally last November when everybody came out to vote. So that's the marker for the No Kings Day if they want this king or not. So once again, we'll see engage effectively with the results of this election in certain states like New Jersey and Virginia and those governor's races. That'll be the litmus test to see if people really want this king or not, in my opinion.
that's wise. I can't argue that. Even though they're redrawing the lines, and what they're doing now, they can't do it before November. But what they're doing is horrific. They said, you can have a state with 100 people, 30 of them be black, but we'll draw the line so that there's no representation.
Oh wow, Leo's gonna make caricatures now. Just when I thought this guy was behind the camera, he's behind the pencil.
All right. So the top one, they have 4 different seats. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And this is where the black people are. So
Oh.
the lines are drawn so that because we represent a fourth of the population, we actually have representation. When you gerrymander, you take them same lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You add a line, you work it so that now you split that black vote so that there's black people, but there's more white people here, and there's black people, there's more white people here. You literally can split a projected of black people in half, right down the middle, and push enough black people off that their votes don't count on each side. That is how gerrymandering works. For those of you who don't know, that is what they're talking about with redistricting. So, we're protected from that happening. It's called the Voters' Rights Act. And the second portion of the Voters' Rights Act says you can't do that. But in court right now, right this very moment, the Supreme Court is like, we want to talk about getting rid of the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, the part that says no racism. We want to say that it is now legal to use racism to draw maps and draw black people out of representation. Now, that's probably the best I've ever explained it, for education and entertainment purposes only. What is your take?
My take is, like I've been saying consistently on this program, that, I'm gonna put a different spin on it, Leo. We have black Congress people that are Republican. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
Well, now, so shouldn't they be up in arms as well? The answer is no.
It has nothing to do with the Voters' Rights Act. That has nothing to do with the Voting Rights Act.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with it.
Because we're talking about black representation in Congress. So question is, why aren't the black Republican Congress people and senator? We even have a senator, United States senator that's black. Why aren't
How many?
Cards?
How many?
I believe we have one black Republican United States senator.
So we have one black Republican United States. And how many Republican United States senators do we have altogether?
We have 100 senators.
So you have 100 senators and you have one that's black.
That's a Republican.
What percentage of the country is black?
14%.
14.
Now, how many?
So you have 100. What is 14% of 100?
I don't know.
14% of 100 is 14, right? Right. But we only have one, not 14, not representation for the amount, for the percentage of black people there are. We have one, not 14 for the percentage of black people there are. We have one. That is not representation.
No.
One out of 14% of 100 is 14. So it's 14%. In order to have the correct representation, we need 14 senators. That is very simple math.
Okay. Now, again, you kept cutting me off. I said Republican. Now, the question is, how many black Democrat senators are there?
So let me get this right. So to defend the fact that there's one black Republican, you say, well, there's black Democrats, but you want to draw the maps to erase the Democrats so that we only have that one representative. That is the point. Thank you. You made it better than I could. I appreciate it. I couldn't have made it. I wouldn't have come up with that.
I didn't cut you off. The point is this: the black Republicans aren't complaining about that are in the Senate and in the House of Representatives.
Let me get this right. I'm gonna go back to Malcolm X. I love Malcolm X. Today's a Malcolm X night. So let me get this right. I just want to. So what you're saying is, all right. So he said there was the house Negro and the field Negro. Now the house Negro loved his master. When the house Negro saw the master's house burning, he said, "Our house was burning, master." When the field Negro saw the house burning, he said, how did he say it? He said he hoped, the field Negro would hope that there would be a wind and it would pick up and hurt and destroy that house. The house Negro says, we are winning. The field Negro knows what it is. So the Republicans that are in the House, literally, the Republicans in the House, would, by Malcolm X's call, be House Negroes, right? By exact wording. So the House Negroes want to preserve because they don't think they can do any better than the master will give them. That was Malcolm X. He's an interesting speaker. Listening to him. Huh. Meanwhile, the ones in the street, he said, I'm a field Negro. That's what he said. I'm quoting him. I'm literally just quoting him. And he said, I'm a field Negro. And, you know, I want to see the house burn down. And then we can rebuild better. Now, I don't have to agree with everything in that speech. I don't agree with everything anybody says. I like to listen to things and come up with my own way of my own thought processes on it, to listen to somebody else that's being programmed. That sounds almost like Trump deranged syndrome, where, you know, anything that Trump says must be so. You
No,
know,
that's
this
not the
guy.
definition of Trump derangement syndrome. It's the opposite. Trump derangement, my friend, are people who are obsessed with their hatred for Donald Trump that goes beyond their own logic and reason. Understand?
Well, I can look at it the other way and say Trump derangement system is people that are obsessed with Donald Trump and go against their own common sense to do what Trump says. I, why can't it be either way?
Well, you see, unfortunately, we have something called a dictionary of
The
what's
Trump
the
derangement syndrome is not in the
definition.
dictionary.
You keep cutting me off.
Sorry.
We have a
Speak.
dictionary by various definitions of the dictionary. We have urban dictionaries. Now, something called Wikipedia is out there. Sometimes cliches and idioms, as they call it, are so frequent in our everyday speaks amongst a populace of people that it has its own branding. So if you look up Trump derangement syndrome, you should share the screen and read it to yourself, and they'll
Wait,
view
wait,
it.
wait. Before I do that, that's a good idea. I could do. Let me ask you a question though. You got a master's degree. You're a really smart guy. Like, you got your whole education thing behind you. So what happened when you tried to use Wikipedia in school? Why? What happened when you tried to use that as a reference?
Well, the thing about it is, I'm not in school anymore. Back
What
then,
happened when you tried to use Wikipedia as a reference?
well, in the early 2000s, it was unacceptable. But however, today,
Why?
I can't say
Why was it
I,
unacceptable?
I can't say what education standards are today because today it may be
Why?
different
Why was Wikipedia unacceptable?
because it was not an academic source.
That's one reason. The other reason is anybody could put anything on Wikipedia, so it wasn't accurate. I can make a Wikipedia page right now. You can make a Wikipedia page right now. My 8-year-old daughter can make a Wikipedia page right now. So just because it's in Wikipedia doesn't mean anything. But I understand your argument.
Why are we arguing?
I just was, you brought up Wikipedia, so I figured I'd give the explanation of my perception of Wikipedia. Just, everybody has their own perception. Oh, wow, the room is lit.
All right,
Let's not.
I was trying to link certain things together.
So while you're doing that, I want to say hello to Ramin. Thanks for joining us again. No Kings isn't just a slogan, it's a reminder that power belongs to the people. Power to the people, brother. Word. No King's Day not being centralized makes sense. Right. Like, why would something like No Kings be a centralized thing? The kingdom is centralized. The revolution against the king is decentralized. Like, that's kind of how that works. Thank you, Chrissy. Hangforth. Hangforth. I don't know Hangforth. Guys, for a white man, why do you think that the black man would actually vote for Trump? Well, you can ask. That can be answered by the black man on the screen that voted for Trump. So I'm going to let him answer that. Hangforth, would you give it to him?
Well, thank you for your question. Number one, the one thing you know what? I'm gonna switch my answer for this around a little bit. One answer I give that people across the board I haven't really got much pushback on is that Trump said a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl, and that's it. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to say with the immigration policy, remember, that's why I voted for him. Now, the implementation, there could be disagreements on, which some stuff I disagree with, but yeah, immigration. Number three, I voted for him because he had a track record at the time of 4 years in his previous administration of global peace, where he was just cutting deals. There weren't missiles flying here and there on the media and major countries in the news every other day blowing things up. So those are my three issues right there. But remember, this is before I voted, and this is why I voted. Now, after the fact, in hindsight, that's another conversation. Back to you, Skip.
So a lot of it was propaganda. The
What?
immigration problem might not have been propaganda, but what he did was he did not do what he said he was going to do. His track record for peace, we've gone over this in shows where I've shown that there were hundreds of wars going on while he was in office. Hundreds of wars. Hundreds. There was so many that Dion made me stop counting before I got out the first year. Am I lying? Do I need to bring it back up?
Please, no. Just bring those
No,
stuff.
I'm just saying. All right. Chrissy. Yep, maybe not many, but I can see it happening. I missed that one. Sorry. I think that is due to feeling insulated from the problem that would stem from this legislation. Like super wealthy people might vote for them. Right. Super wealthy people, Trump's policies benefit the super wealthy. I can see, understand, and agree with uh, some super wealthy people voting for him because like the one big bad bill, I'm sorry, the one big ugly bill, excuse me, Mr. Hakeem Jeffries, you deserve your respect.
Oh
You're
boy.
standing up. The one big ugly bill benefited the rich. So yeah, I mean afterwards he was like, "Yo, you own Facebook, you own Tesla, whatever. Y'all come in here. Now I gave you all these tax breaks. I've saved y'all hundreds of millions of dollars. Throw a couple of million my way. Let's build this ballroom out of your pocket. Thank you for the gift. I gifted you. You gift me. Some people might say, is that legal? I am writing legislation that benefits you and then asking you for money. Oh, that's what happened? Is that what happened? That's what happened. Yeah, yeah. He's twisting people's arms. He's putting money in people's pockets, and they're putting money in his pockets for doing it. That is what's happening. He's not even hiding it. That is crazy. And yes, like I said, that's crazy saying anybody in the world can make a Wikipedia or go on your page and edit it. Is that what you said, Chrissy? I didn't. Yeah. Or go on your page and edit it. How about that? How about that?
How about that?
So, no to Wikipedia. So that's about that. So where do we stand now? We've touched on a couple of interesting subjects. What else is happening in the world that we need to discuss? Um, we're back at the shutdown. I guess that's not going away. What are we on? Day 20 or something like that? Day 15? What day are we on?
I don't know, my friend. What does the clock say?
I'm not even paying attention because we know this shutdown's not
Exactly.
going.
Everybody's not paying attention.
Oh
So,
no! I'm not paying attention to the day because we know that the shutdown's not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to stop. Why is the shutdown not going to stop?
no.
First of all, it was planned in Project 2025. So this project is according to plan. Starters. I mean, it's the Epstein thing where he's trying to make sure that Agalita Grahava from Nevada doesn't get sworn in because she would be the 218th vote that would lead to the Epstein files being exposed, which in basically the big thing here is the Epstein thing would be exposed. So Donald Trump would be exposed and his people would be exposed. So they don't want Adelita sworn in because her vote would expose Trump speculatively. We do know that it was in Project 2025. We do know he doesn't want them files out. So whether he's exposed or not, he doesn't want them files out. We know that he wants to be king. He doesn't want, he told his people they're never going to have to vote again. We know that for a fact. And if he can keep the government shut down, he can do that. He doesn't want to give people health care. Why doesn't he want to give people health care? Let me think. Oh, because that's some of the money that he's trying to save in order to fund the one big ugly bill in order to put more money in the hands of people who don't even really need it. Like people that can have $50 million weddings. There's multiple reasons that Donald Trump told his people, do not show up to work. You'll get paid. Don't worry about anybody else. Of course, the military not getting paid was the big thing in the news, and the Democrats was going crazy. They was using that as leverage. To Donald Trump's credit, Donald Trump is not stupid. They missed
Oh, say it again. Put on a
oh
t-shirt.
no, Donald Trump's not stupid, and that's the problem. People think he's stupid, and that like first of all, he's not even in charge. I think that's Steve Miller, but that's regardless. He's not stupid. So when it started to turn into a big thing for the military not getting paid, he shut it down by saying, "Okay, fine, we'll pay the military, but we're going to still leave the government shut down." So he quelched the biggest problem. Very intelligent move, but the government's still shut down. People are not going to be getting food stamps. People are not going to be getting health care. People are, TSA is not going to work. Museums are going to be closed. Parks are going to be closed. Hold up, there's a list. Let us look at the list. Air traffic controllers, TSA agents, WIC, SNAP, 150,000 law enforcement agencies. Flood insurance isn't going to be taken care of. Regulatory departments are furloughed. There's firings across the government in Treasury, energy, health and human research, human services, housing and human development, commerce, Homeland Security, education. Like he's firing people according to Project 2025, where they wanted to shut the government down and do these firings. He straight up told you he's going to go to the person who put together Project 2025 to make sure that he's firing the right people.
Fine, right,
He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to say that. He said that to let you know that's what he's doing. He did not have to say that. He could have said, "I'm going to do the firings," and did it. And if he wanted to hide it, he wouldn't have said it. He wanted people to know, yes, this is Project 2025. I was lying to you. That was on purpose. Because if it wasn't on purpose, he would know. There was no reason for him to say it. When he said it, it was because it was time to reveal the villain's master plan before James Bond swoops in, except for there's no James Bond.
Oh, God.
Nobody's swooping in to save us. If you're going against him, he's going to come and get you. If you're a comedian, he'll try and have you taken off the air. Comey, Letitia James, Adam Schiff. If you're going against him, he'll try and get you prosecuted. Law officers are bending the knee to this man. All of the media was bending the knee to this man. It got to the point where J.D. Vance was like, "Yeah, here's what we're going to do." And who was it that said, "No, we can't do this"? It came to an end because somebody stopped it. It was, I want to get it right. Pentagon press quit because J.D. Vance wanted to be able to sign off on whatever he said was okay to report. Not the truth, not the news, what the vice president said was okay. And they was like, "Yo, we out. We good. We don't." There was one really, really, really far right-wing outlet that stayed. Everybody else was like, they chucking up them deuces. They out. They was like, "Nah, this is not how the media is meant to be covered. This is crazy. This government is crazy." What do you think about any of that? Because you've been quiet. What do you think about the media?
Well, I say it now as my cliche, as what I don't know, my bar thing, which is we are the news, and now so are you. So please take it upon yourself to do your own research, watch us, support our platform and beyond. But the current media as it is are trying to get more of us, meaning YouTubers, influencers, people who are going viral into their paid buildings, CNN studios, MS Now, and that kind of stuff to actually give our take. So shout out to other various people that are YouTubers or influencers with their platform going
But
viral.
Trump is doing the same thing in the White House. They have their new media section.
Oh,
They've
that's
had that
right.
for Caroline Levis had that for a while.
Yes, shout out to homegirl Kara Cashinova from Newsmax and the Gateway Pundit and her new platform, which escapes me right now. But Kara, me and her were in those streets in the Bronx, 2023. Shout out to Trump, and that's what went viral, inspired him to come to the Bronx. So shout out to Kara Cashinova because Trump added 2 new seats to the White House press corps for more media to come in to actually ask questions instead of shutting media out and canceling people like his predecessor. So you see.
Unless they disagree with him.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel, his show is in the toilet because nobody watches it. That's not Donald Trump's fault. And the other freaking multi-billion dollar media companies that Trump won his defamation lawsuits on, they were just spreading fake news, as he would say about him. He did not grape anybody. So, for
No,
education
he just
purposes,
molested them. He
George
just sodomized them.
Stephanopoulos found out.
Yes, he did not rape somebody. He
FAFO.
sodomized.
Well, again, They didn't report the proper news. So the media, again, when it comes to these numbers of polling, anytime it's a Democrat versus Republican, always add 2 to 5 extra points on those polls. Guaranteed. Shout out to Jack in Jersey, Winston in Virginia, where my aunt lives, and other families. Those two people right there are more up in the polls than what's being reported, purportedly. Thank you. That's
It's
how I feel about the
interesting.
media.
In Chrissy's history class, the lack of public education is being taught. It's being taught that the lack of public education is baked into the fabric of America. It goes as far back as the expectations of parents in the colonies. So basically, translating that, there's
Please.
a reason. It's always been that the public education was meant to be used as a weapon against the people, not for the people. You didn't mention anything about Comey, Letitia James, John Bolton, or Adam Schiff
Well,
being
those, well, the thing is,
prosecuted for vengeance.
they're not being prosecuted for vengeance. What goes around comes around in politics. We all know
Wait a
that.
minute. Wait. Stop. Wait. What you just said was they're not being prosecuted for vengeance. And then the very next sentence out of your mouth is what comes around goes around.
Yes.
Let that sink in. Please
That's
continue.
thinking family, because remember, no one is above the law. So
Except
let's
for
go
Trump.
there. Well, the thing is, as you can clearly see, Trump paid E.G. Carroll. Remember, I disagree with that, Cage. A lot of people outside looking in, she didn't deserve to get a dime. The next thing is, Tish James did use excessive force, violating what? I think the 10th Amendment, saying that he should pay $500 million in damages for some real estate gimmick that she's going through right now with the paperwork. So,
Yes, but her real estate gimmick, looking at the paperwork as we have examined this on this show, was not really illegal. She said, what? All right, boom, I'm buying a second home. She put it as her second home and then later on rented it out to family. And they're like, oh, well, that you saved $900, like $100 a month, something stupid, like $100 a month, $200 a month, something stupid, because you rented it out instead of staying there. So that's what you're pressing charges on her for, because she rented out her second home to family. That's what you're comparing what Trump did. Get the hell out of here.
well, again, look at the same thing. It's a real estate deal, right? They brought the banks to court. So now, when this goes to trial, they're going to have to bring the banks to the court and say, hey, do you believe Tish James defrauded you? So let's just let this play out, let the courts do its work, and let's see what the jury has to say. Because remember, he's a 30-time felon. Remember? He got 30
Yes.
counts. So
Now
he
I
can
want you to
remember.
understand something.
But Tish
If you're
James was
listening to
all in the
this,
game.
this is the most important part. He's mad at Letitia James for prosecuting him, but a jury of his peers convicted him. So while Letitia James is going to get off because the charges are BS, Donald Trump was convicted because a jury of his peers looked at the evidence that was defended by the likes of the second in command at the Department of Justice right now, who defended these charges, and they looked at the results and they said, you're guilty. And it's not like, if in a guilty charge like that, it's not like 50% of the people can do it or 60% of the people who can do it. Because if even one person is like, no, he's innocent, what do they call that, Dion? Is it a hung jury? So that means all 12 jurors looked at the evidence. Everybody in that room looked at the evidence and said, Trump, you're guilty, bro. It wasn't Letitia James that called him guilty. Letitia James brought the charges, and a jury of his peers looked after the defense levied their defense for him and said, you're wilding, though. He's obviously guilty. That's kind of how the court of law works, right?
Well, then let Tish have her day in court and let's see what happens. In
I just,
Virginia.
since everybody, he seems he's so mad at Letitia James for bringing the charges, but he was guilty. Why is he mad at Adam Schiff?
Well, Adam Schiff is another person that went after him on bogus charges. Let's ask Internet. Adam Schiff. Just remind me, because there's so many characters came from Trump. Now it's their turn.
Right. So vindictive prosecution is what I hear the people that know more than me call it on their channels. Vindictive prosecution is illegal. You cannot use the courts to prosecute your enemies. It's called vindictive prosecution. It'll automatically be thrown out. But that's according to the guys that are smarter than me.
Yes, he was involved with the Russia, Trump-Russian collusion, which turned out to be one big joke
But it also
because
turned out to be.
Trump
Go
did
ahead.
not remember. Number one, not to deflect, America interferes with elections all the time. Number two, Putin and Trump did not coordinate his victory in
Oh yes, it's
2016.
plain to see that Putin and Trump are not friends.
Well, it didn't happen that way for him to win.
It 100% happened that way. And everybody around Trump right now, outside, and that's I can't say everybody that was in his cabinet admitted to it. Like you couldn't run away from it. It was you couldn't run away from it.
Everybody in his cabinet admitted that he and Putin coordinated his victory in 2016.
They admitted that they were buddies working together on things. I mean, we're talking about the same guy who January 6th sent the
Here we
troop.
go,
What is
January
it?
6th.
Listen, now this is according to his FBI director, Kash Patel. His appointee for the FBI, Kash Patel, stated that the FBI did not do that. So if the FBI didn't do it and they left Trump's rally to do it, then who did it? What's your excuse now? Because the excuse was, oh, the FBI set it up. The FBI did it. Kash Patel said, nah, that didn't happen. And that didn't happen under the previous administration. That happened under the current administration less than a month ago, and Kash Patel still has his job. Trump did not say he was lying. Trump did not say he was wrong. There does not seem to be a problem with the fact that Kash Patel admitted the FBI had nothing to do with it. So the FBI, it's a big surprise to the world. There might be a lot of you in shock. Had nothing to do with the fact that these people pillaged the Capitol on January 6th. The FBI had nothing to do with it.
Okay. So back to Trump and Putin.
That was about Trump. That was about the fact that it was
Now
Trump's
fast forward
people.
to January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump also recently pardoned George Santos. No, commuted his sentence, rather, excuse me. So George Santos will be coming home from jail. Why did I bring that up? These things the media is reporting and Kash Patel internally, I can't really speak to, but I do know this. Outside looking in with January 6th, you can tell that at the time to present day that there was so much outside or internal assistance to facilitate these people to get inside the Congress that something is definitely up that raises a lot of eyebrows. Understand? Just like Trump's assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, I believe it was, where he was shot in the ear. Poof. That still needs to be explored. That's why we are the media, and so are you, to look into this matter. And please put that information out there and share it amongst your network.
If he had been shot in the ear with a rifle, the damage would have been more than a little trickle of blood.
Oh, here we go again. The forensic expert.
I've shot a thing or two. I've shot a gun once or twice in my life. There's no way you got shot with a rifle and you have a little trickle of blood. That sounds silly. But, you know, I'm not a forensic expert. You're right. But I have shot a thing or two. And that is ridiculous. That is real, like, come on, don't stop. All right. But, you know, people believe anything. So currently, the Trump administration has declared war on Venezuela without officially declaring war. They keep blowing boats out the water. 200 people so far have been reported murdered I'm sorry, unalived by this Trump administration. 200. Colombia said about one of the boats, there wasn't no cartel on it. That was our people. You know what Fox News said to that? I say get them. To civilians from another country being killed, unalived.
Oh,
Fox News they literally went on Fox News and cheered for it. They literally, I'm sitting there looking because I watch Fox News. So I want to hear everybody's perspective. They were cheering for it. Now Trump is like, well, we're going after Colombia too. And I think we're going to send troops in land in Venezuela. Venezuela's like, yo, we don't want no mosques. We don't want no issues. Look, we ain't going to mess with China. We'll give you whatever you want. And stop stop unaliving our citizens. Trump is like, yo, I think it's time to put boots on the ground in Venezuela. This is an invasion. He said he's going to go after Greenland. He said he's going to make Canada the 51st state. He is now poised to place those hotels that he wanted in Gaza because now he's in charge of that region if the ceasefire holds. And now he's invading Spanish territory. Venezuela is being invaded, and he said Colombia is next. This is the guy going for the Nobel, wants the Nobel Peace. He's so upset about the Nobel Peace Prize. Now the Nobel Peace Prize is going to be done next year. This guy here. Yeah, I'm a bio major, and that doesn't sound right, though I'm not an expert either.
Is somebody in chat?
Yeah. Some of the stuff is like. So, what do you say about the invasion going on in Venezuela?
I don't think it's happening. Let me check because that sounds like an exaggerated statement. Invasion of Venezuela.
Maybe they didn't use the word, but if you're taking over
Exactly.
the waters and that,
It's not
hold up,
happening.
let me ask you a question. If you've taken over the waters and now you're sending troops into the land, what do you call it? What do you call it?
What do I call it? Doesn't matter. The point
What
is,
do you call it? I want to know what you call it.
what would I call
What word can you use as aside from invasion? What other word can you use? What can you say besides invasion? Give me a synonym. There's no other word. It's an invasion.
Well, how about this? According to my quick search on Microsoft Bing, that language is not being used, just like genocide and
So
God.
what are they saying to try and walk around using the correct term?
I don't know. Oh, well, you again, I can show you again because this side of me spins it. I never heard Trump say that he's going on a revenge tour. Look at this. I've searched invasion of Venezuela, and I don't see that word there. Trump amps up military, um, covert CIA ops, okay. CIA operations in Venezuela, target Venezuela, Bolsa's
He's
force.
already said that the U.S. is controlling the waters around Venezuela. Trump is proud of this. Maduro's pleading for peace. That is because the U.S. is invading or set to invade his country. What else does CIA ops going into Venezuela mean? What else could that be? Why are you sending the CIA in there after you done bombed the ships to the point where boats can't be around the island, can't be around the waters? Now you're sending in the CIA. What else your people ain't calling an invasion, but what else how can you say it's not an invasion? What about that is not it's not an invasion? The Trump administration is not using the word invasion, so the media is not using the word invasion because we know the media is controlled. They are not the news. We are the news. Here's the news. It's an invasion.
I think again, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America, has operatives and also other methodologies, technologies, and resources in countries around the world to protect our interests. And obviously, that's probably what's going on here. And obviously, the media, again,
Why is that obvious? When you said obviously, why is that obvious?
because it's right there in the media. I just shared my screen. It said the CIA.
No. What you shared was he's sending in the CIA, and then you inferred something, and then said it was obvious that it did not say, which is to protect U.S. interests, because
That's what
that
the
is
CIA
not
is designed
obvious. That
for.
is not obvious. What's obvious is if he's already bombed and unalive 200 people, 200 people in the waters around Venezuela, and now he's sending in the CIA, is that he's invading this country. That's begging for him to stop.
I disagree because if that
About
was
what part?
the invasion, because again, the media, enemy of the people, fourth branch of the government, from what I'm seeing by the subtitles and subject lines of these articles, periodicals, whatever you want to call it, that the CIA is going to do what the CIA does. It does it in many countries that we've known historically. Ask Malcolm X.
To paraphrase Freedom TV, if it walks and quacks, athlete. Word. Like that's a big fact. Like it's yo, you walking like a duck, you talking like a duck, like yo, if you're looking like an invasion, you're acting like an invasion, athlete. So here's the thing, and I just want to make this as simple as possible. If you're controlling the waters around the country, and then you're sending in military operatives while they're afraid to send boats out because they'll get bombed, you're invading their space because it's their waters. So you're invading their space. Now you're going from invading their waters to invading their country. Period. Full stop.
Well, again, let the media report it as such. In the meantime, they're
Oh,
just
wait a minute. But the media is not, we are the media. I am reporting it.
so you, the think tank, is labeling this operation an invasion by the president of the United States and our military. As a veteran, I guess you must be more privy than I to that kind of language and description. So fine, I have to fall back.
Well, let's take a look. What is an invasion? An instance of invading a country or region with an armed force. I don't know, like the CIA. An incursion by a large number of people or things into a place or sphere of activity. An unwelcome intrusion into another's domain. This is the one right here that I think you should pay attention to. An unwelcome intrusion into another's domain. So, by definition of the word, it is an invasion. Period. By the definition of the word. I know MAGA doesn't like to use history and science and math and big words. I know that, words are problematic on the MAGA side. So, but by the definition of the word, for anybody who actually cares about words and their meaning, this is an invasion. And it's not according to the think tank channel. It's according to the dictionary. Because words. We do this all the time. We try and talk around words somehow. And I just, but this is the definition. It's an unwelcome intrusion. It's an invasion. You're invading a country by overstepping your boundaries and going into it. You're invading their space. You're invading their country. It's an
Well,
invasion.
I'd be interested to see what this local media in Venezuela say about us. So hopefully that'll be a challenge one day for our view.
They're begging the
Put it
United
in
States
chat.
to stop. They're begging Trump to stop. And he's pushing forth with his invasion regardless. He's begging them to stop. You read that yourself. Maduro's begging for them to stop. And he's like, yeah, all right, I'm coming in. Whatever. It's mine. Mine. Kind of like my 8-year-old. Pentagon press quit. I did that. Trump made companies pay for the ballroom. We talked about that. We didn't dive into the Voters' Rights Act Did we?
Yes, we did. We're redistricting, Leo,
Oh,
earlier, and
okay.
you
I just want to
didn't
make sure.
see
No, these are important topics. Like I think the two most important topics that we covered today were three. Everything's important. It's hard with Trump. I think the two most important topics that we covered are the No Kings protest, the fact that millions of Americans took to the streets to protest against this king. And what MAGA is going to respond is, so what? Y'all are going back to work tomorrow, right? But we're going back to work with less health care, with less food support, with less money, with rising prices, with troops in the streets. Like, yo, each state is supposed to be its own sovereign place. Yes, we are grouped together as United States, but each state is supposed to be sovereign. This dude is marching troops from one state to the next in a show of force. And the courts are like, you can't do that. So now he's going against the Constitution. I believe the words that I quoted to you months ago were constitutional crisis, that you said, oh, well, nobody's using that. Now everybody's using that, because the constitutional crisis is when one branch of the government goes against another branch of the government and oversteps their boundaries. And I believe you call it overreach. That is the constitutional crisis. When the courts are like, you can't do it, and he does it anyway, we are in constitutional crisis. This is an authoritarian regime. We are, like, he's literally sending troops, like he's sending troops from other cities in other states into cities that don't want them there. He is invading American soil. He's invading Venezuela. He's talking about supporting invading Gaza if Gaza doesn't bend the knee to him. This guy is a monarch. He's a totalitarian monster. But those are big words. We don't like to use big words in MAGA, so we'll make it real simple. He's a king. He's acting like a king, sitting on his throne, moving his troops.
No, no, that doesn't work that way, Leo. We had No King's Day, and they're trying to do everything they can. But yes, the branding of this massive protest, I think, probably is not very good because, like I sing to a lot of people on this side about life, the sun will come out tomorrow. Sing, Leo. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun.
But we
Just
haven't hit the bottom yet. We have
tomorrow.
not hit rock bottom yet.
Wipe away your sadness and your sorrow. There'll be sun.
We have not hit rock bottom.
Exactly.
Trump is, what? Yo, he's only been in office, what, 9 months? And it's this much chaos? You got massive protests in the streets. You got countries being invaded. You got prices skyrocketing. You got people without health care. You got UFC brawls happening on the front lawn. You got people like I know personally people without health insurance right now sick. Like right now. Like it's already started. I personally know people without health insurance sick. So this isn't conjecture. This isn't la 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 ha ha ha. What if this happens? This is happening. It's like when the tariffs was hitting, and I'm like, yo, prices is gonna go up. You're like, oh, they haven't gone up yet. Nobody cares. People are now like, yo, everything costs too much. There's a housing crisis. There's an affordability crisis, as the honorable Bernie Sanders has been telling you was going to happen. All this stuff. Bernie Sanders and AOC are trying to take over the party. These new people are now coming up from the extremist left. What kind of nonsense is this? They're saying the same thing they've always been saying. People are just listening to them more because now with Trump doing all of the stuff they're doing, it's starting to sink in how much sense they make. You went so far to the right, you're pushing people to the far left. Tariffs. Trump collected $7 million in $7 trillion in tariffs. The national debt's only like 14. Like he collected, he said $14 trillion. The national debt's only 35 trillion. Where's the money? Unless he pocketed it. But then he wouldn't need to blackmail people to build his ballroom if he made that much money, would he? Why is it that we can't have health care for everybody and people got to be sick and people can't get food security if this country got $17 trillion from tariffs? Why?
Well, again, with the president and the tariffs, I'm surprised the media isn't harping on that right now because I guess it's still development. And I think the tide has been changing. But we have the lockdown. I mean, the shutdown, excuse me. So we'll see with the mass employment and the tariffs how the economy will stabilize. But again, checks and balances, Leo. You said it yourself earlier. The court system is kicking in. People that have been fired must be rehired. So that cycle of give and take is happening right now before our very eyes. So Project 2025 is one thing, but again, the court systems are kicking in place. However, if this shutdown lasts longer length of time, then they will be permanent, and then Trump will win with that regard. So we have to wait and
I'm gonna
see.
get to that in 1 second because I don't understand what you're saying. Yes, Sophie, I'm getting chills watching this. Many of the viewers are getting chills watching this. Some of us is getting sick to our stomach watching this. They tried to silence the crowd, but look at them now, voices rising together. That's what it is, Logan. I agree. There was a king called the Sun King. He was Louis the 14th. Sun coming tomorrow isn't necessarily a good thing. Wow. Okay, Crizzy, power move. Is the turning point our country is this the turning point our country needed? I would probably say no. This is definitely not the direction we want to go. But I appreciate the question. I think we want to do the exact opposite of what we're doing right now, because the fact that you can't afford food or to pay rent or and housing is going up and people are getting sick without health care and people are losing their food support. I don't think that's the direction we want things to go. And yes, we are passionate. The courage of truth. Both of us are trying to speak our truth. We're passionate. Thank you very much. This is what democracy looks like. We can have debates like this. Thank you, Mason. Farmers are suffering too. That's it. China is the place to buy so much of our crops. There are retaliatory tariffs forcing the prices up and they can't buy our stuff anymore. Plain and simple English. I like that. Thank you, Crazy. Plain and simple English. So Trump is putting tariffs and causing retaliatory tariffs, making our farmers hurt because now they can't sell their food, as we've seen with was it Argentina that they was able to take over the soybean business from or 40% of the soybean business from China that the American farmers used to sell. It doesn't look like his tariff plan is working. Now you said that you felt as if the tariffs was something they should be attacking. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, the media should try to exploit more so how the tariffs are hurting us. However, again, we have an economy where Trump is firing people en masse, unemployment, and you also have goods and services allegedly going up as such. You also said earlier that public assistance being cut. That's going to hurt a lot of people. So, yes, let's see in a few weeks, starting October 25th in New York State anyway, what happens at the ballot box this Saturday.
Ironically, as you've been saying, the media is not going to save us. They're not reporting these things. And that's why you said we are the media. I quoted you today. It's because it's true. The media is not reporting these things. These things are happening. They're obvious. They're right in our face, and they're not talking about it. So we have to. I have to. Even you, who is for Trump, has to admit these things are occurring. I didn't say it. You just did. I mean, these things are happening. You said allegedly with the prices going up. I've been telling you that it was going to happen for months. You're like, it haven't gone up yet. They haven't gone up yet. They haven't gone up yet. And I'm like, yo, I'm seeing it. When I try and buy something, they're telling me I got to pay the tariffs. I'm sure that many of our listeners now have tried to buy something, let's say off of eBay or Amazon, and they're told that they have to pay the tariff because that's what's happening. And that tariff is not a cheap tariff. So you buy something for like 90 bucks and now it's 140. So the fact that the mainstream media is not covering this means that our job here is that much more important. The fact that you had to admit it is a little scary. That means things are worse than like you're having to admit it. I know that that's not a comfortable thing for you to have to say.
No, but the thing is, here on the right side, we have libertarians. Remember, I come from the MAGA Maha side of the family because I used to work for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s PAC, American Values 2024, as a National African American Affairs Director, mind you. So you see, Mahaga, Make America Healthy and Great Again, kicks in where we don't agree with everything 100% because that would be cultish. So anytime something that positive happens with Kennedy, I bring it up. And if I have to criticize Trump like a Tulsi Gabbard would or should, or even Nicole Shanahan, who was his vice presidential running mate, that's where it comes from. If I say America first, I'm not with some of the stuff that goes on with the Middle East or other countries whose names that cause the fact-checking alert bot algorithms AI to kick in. Yes, that's it. That's why I can put it out there.
Well, I think what I'm watching with the Conservative Party is they're seeing how unpopular many of Trump's policies are. And so they're not trying to go down with the ship. They're like, yo, hold on, time out. You know, I'm not really for everything Trump says. First, like I'll take your girl. I'll take your girl. I'll take your girl because you love her. Marjorie Taylor Greene. At first, every time she opened her mouth, she was saying, Congress is wrong, Congress did this, but Trump is right. And I'm like, yo, but they're doing what Trump said. So you're talking about both sides of your face. But she's trying to stay with the MAGA base as she separates herself from the problems that Congress is going through because she sees the writing on the wall. And I think a lot of people are starting to. When you have super MAGA influencers jumping ship, like, oh, nah, we can't support the way y'all are treating the immigrants. We can't support the war on Gaza with starving children. That's heinous. You know, we release Epstein files. Like, they're starting to see the party split. And they're trying to hold on to that base, but separate themselves from the issues that are damaging it so much. And I believe that's what it looks like. That's what it looked like to me from the outside looking in. And so your Marjorie Taylor Greens are like, Trump is good, but the other people, I don't know about them. And now even that's starting to slip where it's like, nah, Trump is messing up because Trump is messing up. Is he going to be able to hold on to power? He's literally going against the courts when the courts are telling him, you can't do that. Like, yo, he went from being told that he can't send troops into cities because of posse comitatus to using troops from different cities, from different states, to send them into cities from there, to shooting missiles into California during the largest protests in the history of the country. Like, if that's not the definition of the word escalation, how do you see that? And then we can call it a night.
Well, I am of the belief that MAGA, Black America, listen here closely, is not a monolith. Remember that, Leo? And there are many parts of this organic movement. And if you have critical thinking and put your hatred TDS aside, you can see how and why. Because if you have Marjorie Taylor Greene finding something within herself to push back against MAGA, as it were, then you know that, hey, we're all not one the same following Donald Trump. Because I was even with some clergy that were for Trump that still are starting to question, like, hey, is he being influenced now by outside forces? Of course, they have the spiritual element, but still, they're not seeing the same Trump policies that they were hoping for, which they saw unfold in the first administration. So that's what I have to say about that. And hopefully that triggers someone to actually, you know what, let me look more into this.
I think what happened is that people just didn't read because if you read Project 2025, since he followed the blueprint to a T, it would have been real easy to figure out what his policies were going to be and you wouldn't be surprised. The surprise is if you don't read. And how you can be in politics at that level or be involved at that level and not read is beyond me. And that's the problem that we have as a country. These people are supposed to be representing us and not even reading the policy, the playbook that they're following. But that's it for me. I thank everybody for coming. I appreciate your support. Please like, share, subscribe. We'll be here every Sunday, 9 p.m. Become part of the critical thinking community. Join us, talk about it. I see a lot of people in the chat just coming in and supporting, blending their ideas. I try and get to everybody in there because I want to make sure that everybody's voices are heard. Because as Dion says, we are the news, you are the news. and we got to come together and hopefully figure some of this stuff out because the mainstream media damn sure ain't helping us. That's all I got. Dion, you got any closing statements?
Yes, stay tuned for more information. We might be doing some more breaking news, so you'll see the algorithm alerts. Make sure your notification is there because from what I'm hearing about this New York Young Republican scandal, there's more to come amongst the other areas. And early voting will be starting this Saturday, October 25th, going forward in New York State. Make sure your other states, if you're watching, like in Jersey's also the equivalent, you pay attention. All right. So we are the media, and so are you.
You want to change the media? That's cool. I'm good with that. All right, thanks for coming. All right, everybody. Have a good